No, certainly does not. Lunatic-Hai coming out undefeated in first place in that group of death. Struggled with LW Blue, Misfits in Africa Red, but, they looked pretty good that entire time. And we have a rematch, a match that happened from last season where Lunatic-Hai was able to overcome EnVyUs in the group stage. So, exciting stuff and definitely going to be an uphill battle for EnVyUs. Now, before we begin, we're not on the Bastion patch, guys. We now, fortunately, have a tournament realm, so we will be playing on the previous patch until about a week from now when we're going to transition over.
Right, so that does give the pros more time to adjust to the past changes, more times for maybe the patch to get patched, perhaps. Who knows?
Bug fixes for sure, right?
Exactly, yeah. Either way, it gives them a little bit more time. I'm glad, tournament realms exist in other esport titles. It's glad to finally have one here in Overwatch, and we're already seeing the benefits. So, yeah, don't worry about it. No Bastion patch today. Same old patch we were on before. Bastion's the same as he was. Could still pick him if you're Africa Blue, I suppose, but
most
probably
likely,
not today.
Yeah, most likely we're not going to see it. And how much those Bastion changes are going to affect the pro scene is still very much in the air.
Yeah.
The pros like him, but they don't think that it's must-pick, at least yet. Obviously, it's very new, and it usually takes them a while to acclimate to a new patch, but speaking with a lot of the teams that are here, it's definitely not feeling like 100% pick rate.
I think the Bastion right now is much more of a problem in solo queue at lower elos than it is at higher elos or the pro scene. That seems to be what it is right now, but that's besides the point. Today we've got two best of fives, our quarterfinals, of course, EnVyUs versus Lunatic-Hai in our first one, and our second one, Kongdu Unsia taking on Runaway. So should be a couple good best of fives, and keep in mind, this is double elimination this season, so even if a team loses today, they've still got one more chance to move on to the semifinals. So it's not all or nothing today. You got a shot, even if it doesn't work out.
Right. And after this, the first place team in Group A will play the second place team in Group B. So the nice thing about this format is potentially, even if the two best teams are in the same quarterfinal group, they can still meet in the finals.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Very exciting. Should guarantee us a pretty darn good final after a rather disappointing one, a lackluster one, EnVy steamrolling Africa Blue in the finals last season.
Yeah, hopefully we'll avoid the steamrolling this time around. But in our, speaking of steamrolling, maybe in our second best of five, it could get a little bit one-sided, actually. Kongdu Unsia taking on Runaway, and, we're going to get to that match a little bit later, but I want to touch on it now at least, is that Runaway is such a puzzling team for me because they went 3-0, then they got 0-3, then they went 3-0 again, and they've made roster changes as well during this time, including today as well. Runners back in again, spoiler alert. So who knows how that match is going to go.
I really don't understand their decision-making. Obviously, it worked against Fnatic, but I also think Fnatic played poorly by their standards on the day that they faced off against Runaway. So whether or not those changes are going to have a massive effect, we have to wait until we see a team like Kongdu Unsia that has been consistently stronger.
Yeah, Kongdu Unsia is, and that's where we talk about the steamrolling coming in, because Kongdu Unsia hasn't made swaps. They haven't had a lot of problems with their opponents this season. They have been very good, showed a lot of depth strategically, and so it's going to be an uphill battle for Runaway in our second best of five, that's for sure.
Speaking of strategic depth, the first two teams actually don't have a lot of it tonight.
Yeah.
They're experts. We saw Miro talking about the mastery of Lunatic-Hai on each of their chosen heroes, but they don't diversify very much from that. Now, that said, their strength is actually pretty solid in this particular meta.
Sure.
Whereas EnVy certainly not in the favorable position for their hero pools, but you can't count them out. I think EnVy, we need to see them go back to some of their basics tonight, and maybe they'll be able to pull off an upset victory.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, just like we mentioned, it is a double elimination, sort of dual tournament format where the winners of the first two matches play against each other, losers play each other. Then the loser of the winners plays the winner of the losers, and then that decides their second seed to the semifinals.
Yeah, basically the easy way to think of it is you win twice or you lose twice and you're out. That's basically it.
Yep.
So you win twice and you're in. So it's pretty simple when you think about it that way. And then, of course, we will have the matchup semifinals in a standard semifinal bracket, so no more group stage or 4 teams in one group, round robin, whatever you could think of doing. It's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah, semifinals and on, it all is just basically sudden death. You win and you live, you lose, and you are out of the tournament. And you still live. You don't die. But you're not in the tournament anymore. That's the important thing.
Well, I'm really excited to see how EnVy has made changes this week. They had a short timeline to turn things around for themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't have to adjust to a new patch, but this is the last stand of the men of the West. And
It really is.
they're against 7 Korean teams that they have to get through in order to win this season of Apex and successfully defend their title. And while it may not be quite the same number as the ring rates, it's still a titanic task to fulfill here.
I mean, you might as well be climbing Mount Doom here, right? Because the teams we have in Korea have gotten much better in Apex Season 2 than they were in Season 1. It's definitely not the same field as it was before, and EnVyUs, I think, is really feeling that.
Yeah, coming off that 0-3 loss to Meta Athena. We'll get to that in a little bit, of course. We'll take a look at the bracket right here. I know this graphic is quite poor and extremely confusing.
That is the most confusing way possible to show the format that we're talking about. That I literally cannot think of a more a more disorienting way to look at this.
Yeah, it does make sense if you know what it's trying to say, but
yeah.
I think if you didn't know the format or have it explained to you, that would be just a giant mess.
It looks like a giant mess. It looks like we're playing one of those cell phone games where you have to stop a bomb from exploding, and you have to connect Africa Blue to LW Blue somehow.
It's like a hacking mini game in a video game. Yeah,
exactly.
It does look like that.
You have to tell me how to disarm the bracket or everyone dies. You better not screw up.
That's how EnVyUs goes out of the tournament.
Hopefully not. We'll see. But it's going to be an interesting group stages, right? Because last season we did have that single elimination. So teams put everything they had, obviously, into that one match. This time around, you can kind of test things out. You don't need to kind of go all in on the first best of 5. You can see what works. You can retool things. Of course, today, like we mentioned, Lunatic-Hai versus EnVyUs, and then Kongdu Uncia taking on Team Runaway. Of course, we'll have another couple matches on Friday after that.
Yeah, and the other side of the bracket might be considered a little bit weaker, but they are pretty balanced considering that Kongdu decided to select Runaway and then take it into the Lunatic-Hai side of the bracket. We could have ended up with LW Blue and Kongdu Panthera in this bracket, and that would have been quite difficult. But again, we did have that insurance just in case we saw the 2 best teams in a quarterfinal bracket still possible for them to beat in the finals. So.
And if you watch that group selection show, it's kind of funny how everybody wanted to play EnVyUs. Every team in Korea pretty much was gunning for these guys.
Well, something that has always been pretty true about the Korean pro gamer mentality has been that they really like to test themselves against the best. And in a lot of these group selection processes, sometimes they will intentionally pick the hardest opponents, try and get them out of the way early, and then coast their way through the finals.
Well, you would actually see that back in StarCraft 2 a lot, where you would have players that weren't really very good, and if they were picking early in a group selection thing, they would pick the very best player in a tournament who you would never think they would have a chance against, but they're like, I want to play this guy because I want to beat him and show everyone that I can do that, Yeah. So the mentality out here is very much we don't want to have an easy road. We want to just beat the best and prove that we're that good.
And if you're Envy, you have a giant target on your back.
Oh,
you're the first Western team to really ever come into a league of this caliber in Korea and win. I mean, it's never been done before.
Yeah.
It's done by some individuals, but never by an entire team. The closest thing we ever really had was CLGU going to Game 5 back in, 2012 against Azubu Frost.
For getting reverse swept.
One
of the greatest disappointments for global teams in the history of esports.
They were one game away, but they couldn't actually get the deal done. But not only did Envy win, they swept the finals, and they did it with ease. So
they did.
Impressive.
Well, you're right. Everybody wants to take them out. We'll see if Lunatic-Hai can do it. It's like you said, too, where I feel like Lunatic-Hai is very good at one thing, and that one thing, that hyper-aggressive style, could be good against EnVyUs. And, I mean, you can criticize a team for having, one style, but there's the old saying, where, I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times rather than the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks one time.
I think that's Bruce Lee, right? So
I think so.
Bringing the Bruce Lee
and I play
Zenyatta into this.
So I've kicked at least 10,000 times with the same person in Overwatch. So fear me is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but both of these teams, they do have specific strengths and weaknesses. And I think that Envy was showed up by Meta Athena because they're a team that is best at range. And when we've seen teams like BK Stars try and dive them, try and play in Lunatic-Hai style, not to say that they're as good at it as Lunatic-Hai, but some impressive outplays by Taimu on the Widowmaker. And I think that they are better at defending their backline than they are at defending their front line as a team. And I think that really Meta Athena was a point of weakness stylistically for them that maybe they don't win tonight, but I think at least they're going to look better.
There was just kind of this odd situation, too. Well, we'll talk about that later, because right now we're going to get introduced to the teams, I've been told.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's right. It might happen eventually. We'll get around to it. Don't worry about it. What our real question is, will the guy pronounce the team names correctly this
and
time?
the player
names. Yeah.
Yeah, very important.
Chips Hodgin last season.
Yeah.
Harry Hook. Not Harry Hook. Harry Hook.
I love that guy.
I do too. He sounds so cheerful whenever he announces something. We don't know who he is.
English voice acting and voiceover work is actually really big in Korea. There are a lot of people
It
who
is.
do it professionally.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's one of them. I
But
guess.
when we ask to do it, oh no. No, our voices are terrible.
Lunatic-Hai. Tank.
지합니다.
네.
그냥 파르시에 자신 있으니까 메인 딜러로 쓰겠다는 거고요. 일정에서 한명 눕혔고,
자, 돌진으로
이거는 1위 있어요. 예리하게 잘 들어갔어요, 위로.
자, 자기의 진수를 보여주나요?
이거 좋은데요?
나노까지 받고. 자, 이러면 퍼센트.
그래도.
Miro.
완전 구속 중입니다. 자, 근데
생체 소리 다 같은 것들도 한번 같이 넣어줘야
네,
되거든요.
자, 중력자 팬 이후에 호비. 자, 중바 둘.
준바세.
네, 계속은 안 되겠다. 이제 브레이크 한번 걸 때가 됐다.
Zumba. DPS.
네.
한 방에 죽여버릴 생각이거든요.
오, 위도 났는데.
후아유가 뒤에서.
자, 이러면 시간 거의 다 돼요. 자, 시간 다 됐.
Eska.
자, 양호, 용감, 둘. 힐러들 다 끊고. 자, 초월로 상세.
초월 모델을 상승.
그리고 준바.
배제부사가 들어갔습니다만 아무도 없어요.
용감새 썰고 에스타까지.
Who are you? Support. Toby.
답답하니 내가. 이거 이게 딜러야. 또 힐딜러. 역시 동방이 일로 와. 야, 일로 와. 여기 하지 마. 소총 권총 닦아내야겠다.
Ryu Home. Lunatic-Hai.
Oh, there they are, Lunatic-Hai. I'm so disappointed they had no highlights of Toby. Come on, man. He got like 2 boops at the end of King's Row the other day
That was
like
racing.
saved the game and stuff. There are absolutely highlights out there. Don't be lazy. Supports have highlights. Find them. We want to see them.
Especially Chris from Meta Athena
Oh,
was
yeah.
also doing amazing things
Totally.
on that Lucio pickup. But I think the key for Lunatic-Hai tonight is making EnVyUs Genji work, right? You have to be able to win those duels. You have to be able to get the good Dragon Blades off. And that should be the focus, because if they can win playing that style, they're going to be fine. If EnVyUs is shut down, or he's forced to change to another hero, Eska, the form that we've seen Eska in, even though Lunatic-Hai is 3-0 in best of 5s, has not been a level where he can carry the game if EnVyUs is shut down.
I mean, he's good. He's certainly a good DPS, but he's just not like a superstar level that pretty much everybody else on this team is.
Yeah, and they don't need him to be a superstar player.
No.
But they do need their superstar players to have superstar performances for him to pick up the slack in his current form. So who are you? That's the key player of this match from both sides. EnVy definitely going to be looking to shut him down. And then on the opposite side, it's all about protecting it. And Lunatic-Hai is a team that is based around their tanks and supports primarily. Those are their star players, and they've got to come up big and help their Genji.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Genji, I mean, who are you? Mostly Genji, of course, but a little bit of Pharah, a little bit of Roadhog in there. And when he has played those heroes, he's looked good on them too. So if he gets forced up to Genji, there are other options, but nobody's really been able to do that yet.
Yeah,
So-
and it's not that he can't play other heroes. It's that he can't have the same level of performance. He'll be good,
True.
but he's not going to hard carry.
That's right. Here's EnVyUs.
Flex.
갑니다.
항상 알람 선수의 반격이 하지만 반격 부수기 아니겠습니까? 반격 부서지면 이 위도메이커 이렇게 그냥 아무 때나 맞추는 거니까 이거 절대 이해 못하거든요. 타이밍 머리 조심 머리 조심 안 된다 이런
Taimu. Tank. Coco.
자, 미키 단야뿐만이 아니라 이번에는 윈스턴 가지고도 행복 메타 뭔가 보여주는데요. 네, 나도 맞았어요.
오히려 득점에서 눕혔지 잠시.
그렇습니다. 자, 미키가 그래 미키 하나, 해리오까지 둘,
미키 둘.
하나 더.
오 살아요? 살았어.
잡혔어요.
Mickey. DPS.
했는데 나눠주고 맺고 연계까지 해서 4킬. 킬까지
지금 메카 체력 없고.
주고 받아요. 나노 접실전 지금 나노 접실전 지금 셋. 이거 잘 맞았습니다. 그러네요.
Harry Hook. Support. Internet Hulk. Chips High-End. EnVyUs.
All right, now we really got problems. No clips for Chips High-End. Are you kidding me? Have you seen this
Well,
guy's Ana play?
I think if you really want to talk about the big matchup in skill between these two teams, it has to be Ryu Jae-hong versus Chips High-End, arguably the top two Ana players in the world. You know, we've got a great player like Taimu, but Eska's not really up at Taimu's level, right? So it's all about these top two Ana players, and we'll see how that battle is going to unfold.
I agree. Sad there was no clips for Coco either. He's had a lot of great Reinhardt plays, man. Moving people out of the way, enabling big self-destructs from Mickey. There's a lot of stuff this guy can do.
Speaking of Mickey, he did not have the greatest performance versus Meta Athena, and I hope tonight, when we see Mickey at his best, it has been on the Diva, and he's very good at eating Zarya ultimates, but he was trying to match Zarya last match against Hoon, and part of it is that he doesn't get the same resources as Hoon does. He doesn't get all those nano boosts to have as many ultimates. That's a team play decision. It's not his fault. But even the gravitons he was getting were not perfect, and I think his positioning and his ability to delete those Zarya ults has to be on the forefront of his mind, because he's now going up against Zunba, who's, again, another top-tier Zarya player. I don't think he can match that skill, so he's got to play to his strengths.
I think in terms of Zarya's, Hoon and Zumba, in my mind, are probably
top two.
The top two here in Korea. So it really couldn't be much harder to try to match them Zarya to Zarya. And he was doing some interesting things on Diva last time, too. Like, he would really enable Taimu's Widowmaker, as weird as that sounds. He would stand behind him with the defensive matrix up, allow Taimu to take more aggressive stances where he normally would be two out in the open, and he would go and chase people out from behind cover so Taimu could hit the shots. So, you know, he's able to do lots of really unique stuff on that Diva, and so even though she's not as huge in the meta right now, I hope he sticks to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you focus on the Widowmaker like that, against Meta Athena, their front line just destroys your front line because you can't snipe them fast enough, right?
Generally what happens.
And if you're using your tank in that way, you have to be able to get those picks without losing your front line. But with all the Graviton surges coming in from Meta Athena, they were just caught out way too many times. But again, I think it's a bad stylistic matchup. I think if you play Diva that way against Lunatic-Hai, you're going to have a lot better time.
Probably. We'll see. EnVyUs as well, in their last match, one of the kind of troubling things was that their ult usage was a lot worse than we normally are used to from that. The coordination was bad when they were trying to combo ultimates. You had a lot of people just using things at odd times. I know Harry Hook had a couple tack visors that were odd, so a lot cleaner play from EnVyUs. That's what we're looking for today as they go into their match against Lunatic-Hai. The best of 5, the quarterfinals begin right now. Let's see who takes the early lead. All right, welcome to Nepal. It'd be cool if that elephant was actually an Omnic and you could ride it around maybe or something.
Hey, we have a sort of horse Omnic now. Isn't that enough for you, Doa?
No, it's not.
Orisa does have the elephant tusks.
That is true. Okay, so Orisa does have a little bit of the qualities I'm looking for in a rideable
But
Omnic.
doesn't have the pachyderm feet.
Yeah, kind of.
No, just the horse's feet. It's like hooves.
They're round. I suppose if you saw a silhouette of him, that might be kind of similar. Who knows? Orisa looks amazing, by the way. I played her a little bit on the PTR today. It was extremely fun. It made me want to maybe give up on my support. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. But she might be my tank character. Super cool. Well, here we are on the Shrine. Lunatic-Hai versus EnVyUs as we start things off. Taimu beginning with the McCree this time around.
And Harry Hook is actually on the Zarya right now while Mickey is on the Diva. So
that
going to see the triple tank from EnVyUs, but of course the Genji will be coming out. Lots of protection here on that back line. And Taimu going to flank around to the side behind the Reinhardt shield. That is...
Wow, they tried to hunt down Who Are You, and they found him. Eska fell as well. Great start for EnVyUs. Flashbang comes in, not enough damage though. Zumba gets the return kill, but EnVyUs got the picks they were looking for. They took out both DPS, and they should be able to claim the Paying the point early. Yeah, Lunatic-Hai forced back. Good start so far.
Taimu with a very dangerous flank when Zumba had his self-bubble up.
Yeah.
But they are going to be pushed out, at least for the time being. EnVyUs on the point, and they are going to start that control percentage ticking up right now. Who are you? Not with a lot of ult charge yet, has not been able to find. And he is going to find
again.
a grenade to the face.
Yeah, Chips-Hai finishing that one off, and EnVyUs starting off great so far in Nepal. Taimu with the kill onto Eska as well. And if Taimu is able to watch that positioning, not move too far forward again, we should be in good shape here. Harry Hook gets very low as he backs away on the Zarya, but I gotta say, so far so good for the first, if the first minute is any indication here.
And switching Harry over to the Zarya seems like a good idea. We know how excellent his tracking is, so should be able to follow that Genji as he double jumps in midair.
It's a really good point, actually. His tracking does enable him to theoretically play a really nice Zarya too, so. EnVyUs coming into something a bit new. Taimu just going for that zoning Deadeye, just buying some more time on the point.
Over 50% now, so Envy looking strong on a map type that they have been pretty lackluster at. Nanobu's going to come on through.
Graviton Surge used as well as Who Are You tries to get into the backline. Gets booped back, though, by Internet Hulk. Mickey with 2 kills. And EnVyUs winning another fight. Mickey comes in to finish off Who Are You with the charge even. EnVyUs, man, they appear extremely ready to handle Who Are You.
Well, honestly, they need to figure out a way to dive onto Taimu. He's playing in some risky positions right now away from his tank line, but it's working. He's not being punished. Eska's been across the map, and now he's going to look for a flanking Deadeye. Try and set this up from the high ground, and Coco hits a Reinhardt shield.
Oh, it did get blocked. Yeah, Eska gets a kill on the Chips-Hai in there with the Deadeye. They're going to drop the sound barrier. This is going to be the fight they're going to choose. Mickey, though, just forcing the McCree away from the fight, and we'll see if that makes an impact. He's out now. He goes down. EnVyUs loses a couple people here, and Harry Hook finds himself a bit out of position. Looks like Lunatic-Hai is going to take this one back. Yeah, I don't know if that was the greatest fight ever, but Lunatic-Hai will get some control percent going. 99 for EnVyUs, though.
They bought a lot of time. They also held on to both the self-destruct and the sound barrier, so they didn't overcommit ults to that fight. Once Coco's Earth Shatter failed, they stopped the bleeding. Lunatic-Hai still at an advantage, however, so Envy is going to probably take some time here to work into this. Dragon Blade available now for Who Are You, and Zumba's going to come in with the Graviton and going to catch Chips.
Yeah, he gets this Zarya shield right away, though, but Who Are You gets a nano boost, comes down and finishes a kill. This one's looking pretty good for Lunatic-Hai. Yeah, Coco on his own, that's going to be an easy teamfight win for EnVyUs. And it's a lot easier to defend this point than attack it. EnVyUs finding that out right now.
And here we go, Split Swan Central. Unfortunately, we saw actually Internet Hulk did not use his ultimate, so again, good poise from Envy.
Yeah.
Holding on to that. And you can see their game plan starting to take shape here. As soon as Zunba walked in, he telegraphed the Graviton really hard. They knew that the Nano Blade was coming. And they got all of their tanks. Coco, Mickey on top of the Graviton just started swinging away. Oh, Coco gets his shield broken.
That is not good, man. Taimu goes down as well. Who Are You gets the reflect kill on him actually with the Deadeye. Both McCree's pop Deadeye at the same time, and Who Are You reflected it right into Taimu's face.
He's going to keep camping this high ground. Shatter still up for Miro, but Envy, they've been patient. They're building that ultimate bank, and now they're going to come in with a strong push here.
Yeah.
Try and really take the victory in overtime. See how Harry's going to use this Graviton. Big question mark for him on Zarya.
That's the plan, right? I mean, you save until you've got these ultimates. You could throw it on the side. Looks like that might be the plan going in. Yeah, there's the Graviton Surge.
Mickey's
Pulled a lot of people out there. Got hit with a sleep dart. Mickey popped out. There's the self-destruct. Gets Toby. EnVyUs on the point right now. They've been using that sound barrier to stay alive. Harry Hook slept, gets back up immediately, though. Looks like they've got Lunatic-Hai scattered, and this is what they were waiting for. Just a bunch of pushes to build up those ultimates, and now they may have it. Coco
nice shatter.
Drops the Earth Shatter to keep him out in EnVyUs. Take Shrine.
That was so much better in terms of ult management from Envy than what we saw in that last match. And they returned Mickey to the Diva. That turned out to be pretty clutch. He's still great at positioning himself to negate a lot of the enemy team's damage and to take advantage of the Zarya ultimates, that self-destruct. But good patience. They didn't get sucked into the aggression of Lunatic-Hai. Just wait. Doesn't matter if it's 99-99. It matters if you win the point.
And they really handled Who Are You effectively there. I mean, yeah, we saw him come in and get a couple kills later on. They found the team fight eventually, but he wasn't able to constantly kill the back line like we've seen him do so much.
But it doesn't mean much, though, if they have to use 3 ults to enable him to do that, right?
Sure.
That's the issue that they have to struggle with right now is they need to make sure.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Is they shut him
Escott
down.
Junkrat.
No way. Oh,
Wow.
I love this. This is great.
All right, so they're going to spam the Reinhardt shield, try and break it early.
And you can break it really fast with Junkrat, so it is useful. I mean, we see it on this point every once in a while. We just haven't seen it in this tournament ever. All
Diva's
right.
going to come in, see if they can stop some of that damage.
Yeah, he disrupts him with the shift.
All right, I don't think you take that fight if you're Envy. I think
That's-
that you have to back off that immediately once you see the Junkrat grenade spam coming in.
I was going to say, you're going to take so much damage trying to advance on a Junkrat down a narrow corridor. That was...
Coco just throws himself off the edge, too.
I think EnVyUs was just kind of surprised by that, and now the reset. So how are they going to react to this? Who are you on the Roadhog now?
This is the first time this season we've seen a Junkrat Doa. Last season
Yeah.
we got some from Tavik, but this time around it's going to be Eska playing with these choke points.
Oh, got the catch. They took out Coco, and that's what happens. Mickey just comes through, tries to knock people away, but doesn't really move anyone off the point. Meanwhile, they try to sneak it with the McCree. Taimu, though, kind of on his own here. Gets a couple kills in the process. They're going to boost him, and he's going to get one kill with it. The Electric Cowboy, man, helping EnVyUs retake the point, and Lunatic-Hai got a little bit scattered there. They didn't really react well to EnVyUs moving on to the actual control point.
They haven't reacted well to Taimu being by himself, but how can they with this composition? They had Junkrat and a Roadhog. You can't reach the McCree on the back of the point like that, so good positioning from Taimu. Actually does flip the point over in their favor, but that's going to cause the switch from Eska onto the Soldier.
I was going to say, yeah, Deadeye now for Taimu. Pushing them all back again. We'll see what he can break through with this. Does take out Miro. Got through that Reinhardt shield.
Waited for the Zarya bubble to be off before
Yep.
using it. Nice patience there. And now they continue to be the kings of this high ground. Without that Junkrat there, it's a lot more even when it comes to that shield spam battle.
Yeah.
Right, so back around the side right now. Lunatic-Hai has to figure out a way to get onto this point without
got a
being
couple
caught
of
in a pretty big crossfire right here. There's a hook, actually.
Coco got grabbed. It doesn't look like they got the kill. Miro's going to get the nano boost. Blocks that Earth Shatter, though. Now the sound barrier comes in as he gets pinned. Doesn't do a ton of damage. Harry Hook going down very quickly in that fight. Mickey on his own, too. They go for the self-destruct, but no kills coming in from it. Meanwhile, Taimu still camping on the point, looking for the headshots onto Who Are You. Who Are You gets one big, backs off. There's a flashbang. The heal, though, still comes through. And now Taimu has to back away. A little bit too dangerous here, as he can't quite finish off Who Are You. Ryu Jae-hung there, healing him up.
Yeah, Mickey going to get bounced off the point at the end. So Lunatic-Hai not playing into the hands of EnVyUs that time. Crucial block on the Earth Shatter by Miro, who has been winning the Reinhardt mind games thus far. And now Who Are You? Back looking to fish as they come through
Well, Lunatic's
the
got
choke point.
Lunatic-Hai has a couple ultimates to work with here, too. Deadeye time. Taimu coming from the side, trying to catch someone behind the Reinhardt shield.
Yeah, they learned this time. Everybody behind cover.
Yep.
As soon as they hear that Deadeye, they're not going to be fooled by the same trick,
Whoa.
but they're also not on the point.
Oh, that was a tricky charge from Miro, though. He nearly caught Taimu, and they were able to take that back to point easily enough anyway. Internet Hall kind of on his own there. Him and Mickey probably not going to be able to take it. They gave the nano boost over to Harry Hook, and he zoned a bit of Lunatic-Hai off the point. But it doesn't look like it's enough, even with Who Are You taking a nap over there.
But they haven't got the point back yet, so 93% is where it will stop for EnVyUs. One good fight short of taking Nepal 2-0, which would be huge for them because they're a team that has struggled on control maps for the most part.
Yeah. Now, Lunatic-Hai, the only map they've lost this season was Oasis to LW Blue. So their only map loss is a control map, but that's not exactly a huge sample size to draw from for that stat. Zinba, the Graviton Surge coming in. They really want to win this fight. He's going to go ahead and use it. Yep. And there's a self-destruct. We'll see what they can get out of it. No kills from that. Meanwhile, Eska on the side, pretty much unopposed on this Soldier right now. Hasn't popped the tac visor. They haven't needed it. EnVyUs not able to reclaim the point as they reset.
Decisive, though. They see it, and then they just dive the Reinhardt and the Diva into the pit. They want one more fight here.
I don't think they're going to get there, man. 98, 99.
Nope.
Not going to make it. Nope. And so, Lunatic-Hai will be able to take Sanctum, and we are going to go to the third point here on Nepal.
Taimu should have swapped right there with such a small amount of time remaining, but that's okay. Could have been on something that could have reached maybe the point a little bit faster, as unlikely as that might have been.
They didn't have a lot of time.
No, they didn't have a lot of time, but regardless, EnVyUs showing a much stronger performance on the control. And to talk about maps real quick with these two teams, Envy has basically made their name in this season winning Hybrid and Escort. And that's been fine against a lot of Korean teams, but unfortunately Lunatic-Hai is also flawless on Hybrid and Escort, and they're flawless on Assault, which EnVy is 0-3 on.
Right.
They have been really quite poor at Assault. So for EnVy to win Control would give them a lot of breathing room in a best-of-5 where they can't necessarily in this matchup count on winning every single Hybrid or Escort map.
Moving on to Village, Eska with the classic May wall to split up the opening fight on the high ground here. Disrupting that a little bit, kills both Annas actually as we start things off. There's another shield as he tries to separate Mickey from the rest of the team. Looks like it's going to work. They do separate it. Man, Jaehong just wrecking people on the EnVyUs side of things. Not many left, and yeah, Miro jumps in, manages to escape to get the heals, and it looks like Lunatic-Hai is going to be able to claim the point first.
Triple for Jaehong in all of that mess with the help of his biotic grenade, but first point capture. Miro playing patiently. They don't have that Reinhardt for the top ground control, but they were able to wait it out even though Who Are You went down first, thanks to Eska having some good May walls.
You know, people like to criticize Eska, and for good reason too, but his May play, especially on points like Village, has always been very, very good. And they really lacked that when they were running Taejun and not him for a while.
Okay.
Sometimes you just die, I guess, but when he's alive, he's great.
Sometimes you just die without using your ice block or whatever.
You know.
It's fine.
I cast or curse him there. I'm sorry. I admit it. That was my fault. Who Are You just going to tear some people apart? EnVyUs already scattered. They're just going to die and reset here. And the salute. The two-fingered salute, which sounds like an insult, but it's just what Genji does.
It's a respectful
Gave him
salute.
the two-finger salute, if you know what I mean. I don't know what that means.
That's a great euphemism, Noah.
It sounds insulting. It sounds like it should be bad.
I'll be giving you the two-fingered salute later.
Oh my god. I thought that was our secret, Monty. Come on. Well, EnVyUs trying desperately to retake this one. They don't want to lose Nepal after winning the first one. There's a big Earth Shatter coming through. Did it result in anything, though? Hard to tell. Who Are You as a Nano Boost right now, though?
It did
Time
stop
did
him.
go down.
It stopped him from getting the Dragon Blade during the Nano Boost, but that was
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
And they didn't kill him because he
Something.
was Nano Boosted, so they basically just traded 1-for-1 and then got
Man.
wrecked in the corridors by Genji dashes and
It-
Winston AoE.
It looked so good on Shrine. It looked so good. And now things looking pretty tough for EnVyUs.
Yeah, they're way behind in ult economy. They've slowed down, don't have that same patience that we've seen from them. They're going to try for the high ground again. They think they should win this because they have to Reinhardt, but the May is doing a lot of work. and
Oh my
it's
gosh,
gonna be brutal.
Graviton Blizzard, everybody. It's Minnesota time now.
Is there a lot of gravity in Minnesota?
You'd think so, but no, just a lot of blizzards. I mean, there's just as much gravity as anywhere else, I suppose. Eska taking out Coco as he's on the point pretty much by himself. The Winston not going to work out too well either for EnVyUs, and there goes OT. Internet Hulk back in. Oh, takes a nap as Lucio, and Lunatic-Hai going to claim Nepal.
EnVy tried every approach. They tried the main gate, got
Yeah.
Maywalled. They tried the high ground, got Maywalled. Didn't have the timing on their Lucio's speed boost to zip through that. Eska has a good game, and this is what's scary. Like, if Eska could do this, not using the ice block notwithstanding, if Eska could perform at this level with this coordination of his team, this is where Lunatic-Hai looks their most terrifying.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Eska has this great flexibility that he brings to Lunatic-Hai and the ability to play a lot of different heroes. I mean, think about it. We saw McCree, we saw Soldier, we saw Junkrat, we saw May just on Nepal. And, you know, he played all of them fairly effectively. Swapped off Junkrat when he needed to, but that first fight did what it was supposed to. It got them the point early on.
Yeah, and those few percentage points were actually the difference in that victory.
Yeah.
Now for EnVy, you were hoping to win Control, but it wasn't in the bag. Unfortunately for them, now they face 3 maps, which both teams have been flawless on in terms of Hybrid and Escort, and unfortunately for them, the albatross around their neck is the Assault map, which they have not won yet in this season of Apex. So they can hope for an upset there, or they could hope to do what they did against MVP Infinity and run the table on Hybrid and Escort, but this is a very different team, and their opponents also specialize in these maps, so certainly an uphill battle.
A lot of people right now have Lunatic-Hai in the conversation for best team in Korea, and I think that's an appropriate place to put them at the moment. You know, binary style or not, these guys are extremely good at what they do. And after the changes in mid-season where Dean and Taejun left the team, they brought in Who Are You and Eska, and I think they got a lot better, honestly. I think the team improved pretty substantially with those roster changes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And Miro also improving dramatically on the Reinhardt.
Yeah, that's true too. And so, Nimbani, Kings Row, and Eichenwald. See what the next map is going to be. It's going to be Nimbani. And why not? We just had the Orisa announcement today. Appropriate, we go to Nimbani. And it's a Nimbani where the Doomfist Gauntlet is still there because we're not on the Bastion patch yet. So.
That's true. Yeah. There are no destroyed robots in the Nimbani airport, which is quite small for an airport, by the way.
Orisa hasn't been built yet, I suppose.
Wow, the timeline.
We're going back in time. We have to go back. EnVyUs. Time traveling their way to a tie, perhaps, in this best of 5. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it?
I guess it will be, though. I guess it will be.
We'll see if they can equalize the game score as we go to Nimbani. See who takes it, or if Lunatic-Hai will already put themselves one map away from a quarterfinal victory here. The first day of the playoffs on Apex Season 2. Time to get in the game and see who takes it.
I get it.
Welcome to Nimbani. Enjoy the Doomfist Gauntlet while it lasts because it's going to be gone soon.
So let me get this straight in the Overwatch timeline. So the first video they released with the Gauntlet at the museum is after the Gauntlet has been taken there by this transport, right? It's going to the museum.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Maybe.
in the museum.
Continue.
It was in the museum, but then it was stolen, right? So what's up with that? Like, did it ever reach the museum? That's why I'm confused.
What I always thought was that, like, it was maybe stolen, but then they got it back, and so now this is when they're transporting it back to the museum again.
But then it was stolen again?
Then it was stolen again? I don't know.
Exactly.
I
See,
don't
that's
know,
why
man.
it's confusing.
I don't know.
Toby,
I don't know.
gonna
Maybe
be
there's more than one.
Toby going to be on the Torbjorn, looking for some early poke damage to build up that molten core.
Okay, I've got an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
Here's it is.
Great.
So we had the opening cinematic, right, where it's like Widowmaker and Reaper versus Winston and Tracer in the museum.
Yep.
They saved the Gauntlet from being stolen that time. And then the museum board goes, you know what, we need to move this thing to a more secure museum location. And that is what Nimbani, the map
There
is.
we go.
They're moving it from one museum building to a more secure one.
Gotcha.
That's what's happening.
I
There
get
you
it.
go.
I get it. Just like Twitch chat, I get it, Don.
Yep. All right, well, here we go. EnVyUs going triple tank, as we often see in Lunatic-Hai, like you mentioned. Toby on that Torbjorn. So going with the single healer this time around. Oh, Taimu does not land that grab, and he's in trouble now. Got hit by the biotic grenade. Has to back away. Look away! Meanwhile, Toby just holding down the left click, as you do.
He's taking some shots at his own Reinhardt right there, but Mickey trying to push two members out,
man.
but Toby trying to help to finish that one off with Eska, and that push not working very well. Now,
Behind enemy lines.
they're sitting back here. Now, they know that it's going to be very difficult for the members of Lunatic-Hai to fight them in there, unless they get a great Mei wall and separate them, but...
All right, well, we got Zimba off the bat. Not a bad start. Jaehong coming from behind. Harry Hook gets slapped. Dude, there's a protective shield from Coco. Got to keep him safe.
It's a great flank
Yeah.
by Lunatic-Hai, but that wall is not so great.
Uh-oh. Yeah, this is getting a little bit dangerous. Earthshatter comes down, and it's a big one, too. EnVyUs with a chance to capitalize. Nano Boost used on 2 tanks right now. Miro pops a Primal Rage to push back
Harry Hook has
EnVyUs.
4 HP.
They've lost a few here. It's dangerous already. Molten Core used. Coco does go down, and Miro trying to finish off Taimu here. He'll be successful. A close call, but it looks like Lunatic-Hai is going to be able to hold.
Wow. Molten Core at the end with that finisher. Harry Hook only at 4 HP, chased down by a Primal Rage Winston. That was really close, but the flank ultimately successful. They finally got the Mei wall they needed. Waited out for a long time. But their first push, that nearly cost them the point. EnVyUs is very strong in those corridors with the Reinhardt, and you have to be very careful about approaching those. A little bit sloppy.
There's nobody to block the Earthshatter this time around.
Well, they tried with the Winston shield, but unfortunately they were inside it, and all Harry did, or Coco did, was walk inside it as well and shatter them.
Much harder to make that work than the Reinhardt shield. They're going to try for another wrap around the backside. Lunatic-Hai up on the high ground. Appropriate. They're not lunatically low, are they?
Certainly not. Let's go another wall, just delaying.
Damage with the Helix rockets as they come out. Oh, okay, Maywall separates people. Eska knowing what he needs to do here. Were you just harassing a little bit? And EnVyUs, they may go in. Okay, so the Torp turret did go down. Oh, goodbye, Eska. Well, that's one way to solve it. Whole hogs him right off the edge of the map. Meanwhile, Harry Hook finding a flank around the side. Oh, but he gets caught by Who Are You and Zunba. Harry Hook gets the hook. Doesn't get the kill, though. Who Are You with the kill? Not the Harry Hook, rather Taimu got that hook. They're on the point. It's a long sort of split up fight right now. Taimu gets the hook onto Chips. Or what am I saying? Onto J-Hong.
Yeah, but it's just going back and forth. Self-destruct
really
is not going to get anything.
Well,
Or got actually Miro.
Yeah.
Looked like the Winston bubble went down just in time.
It's not going to matter in the end. EnVyUs having to pull back.
Yeah.
But these have been some very interesting fights.
I mean, you can see the mind games going on right here and how EnVyUs is adapting. They changed the position of Taimu just to deal with Eska because they don't have a solution for him right now when it comes to those May walls. They're not playing around the cooldown very well, so he went on Eska assassination duty, and they're on the verge of getting full held on Numbani.
Well, they drew the Primal Rage out of Miro right now, and they can keep him off the point maybe. EnVyUs drops the sound barriers. They want to take it. Miro very low, has to back away. And that guy is good at living. Meanwhile, Taimu with another whole hog takes out the Torb turret, pulls in the Torb.
The bubble actually saved the Torbjorn right there.
No kidding. Toby lives for a little while longer, finally gets taken out. Harry Hook with the tack visor drops enough damage on the team that EnVyUs will be able to finally take point A.
Wow, that was a pretty clutch bubble.
Yeah.
Didn't matter in the end, but impressive to see nonetheless as Toby was bouncing his way across the point.
Sure.
And Envy, at the dying light of this game, clutching out the point, playing on the low ground and playing to their strengths, just having the Reinhardt there, daring people to contest it while he was nano boosted.
Now, Eska never got a chance to use the Blizzard on point A, but it can be pretty crucial in slowing things down here to give the rest of his team time to build their ultimates again for longer defense. So we'll see if it works out. Walking right now, of course, Coco does have that Earth Shatter. Lunatic-Hai in a position around the bus. Oh, I think he managed to pick up Toby. Yeah, he did.
Nice roll, though.
Yeah, no kill. He's going to charge. Not hit anyone. Mickey does get the kill in the jail in the meantime. The Blizzard was used, but no real follow-up, though. That's not how they wanted that ult to happen, really.
And now it's time for the Reinhardt swinging at each other, but
nobody dies.
Yeah, considering that Chips was still up, going to always have that healing advantage.
Wow, Coco got very low. Nice right click from Taimu to finish off Eska as well. And that payload's going to keep moving. So Lunatic-Hai defending point A for a long time, but now kind of struggling here on the Streets phase.
Yeah, they have Nanoblade, however, and
yes, they do.
EnVyUs, not too many tools to work with until they get the visor up. And Miro's going to get pulled from behind. Taimu again split off from the rest of his team, surprising Lunatic-Hai.
Where are you coming in, though? They've got to deal with him. He doesn't really get any kills, though. Kind of dealt with already. Has to run away from the nano boost of EnVyUs. Taimu with another pick, and every once in a while, Taimu just has these Roadhog games where you think to yourself, how in the world can anyone do this kind of stuff on this hero? And I think he's kind of on the verge of having one of those right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and Taimu has been at his best so far in this series when he's been by himself. Lunatic-Hai seems to have been repeatedly caught unaware by his flanks, either on the Roadhog or on the McCree, and they haven't had any answers. Crucial picks go over to Envy, and they're able to take some points. Not close enough to be booped off the map.
Nope. Didn't get the hook onto Toby, though. Which is what he was looking for. And Taimu lately, he's struck off on his own a lot more, and it seems like he just does that better, you know? He's better at being sort of like the solo assassin artist. There's a whole hog trying to push people into his team for the kills. Meanwhile, Harry Hook with the tack visor, but not really finding anybody. That was extremely awkward. Now Eska's going to pop his, and EnVyUs maybe have to be careful here. They get shot with the Earth Shatter as well. And Zunba picking up a couple kills. Yeah, EnVyUs not having to fall back quite yet. Kind of dangerous, so watch out for that hook. Eska really playing with fire. He dodges it. That was a close call. But now the nano boost comes in for Harry Hook, looking for a bit of revenge. He does go down, though. Who Are You finishes him off. Maybe an overly bold move by that soldier. Miro with the nano boost for Lunatic-Hai side of things. Finally takes out Coco at the fire strike, and they're going to hold the point.
No tack visor there for Harry Hook. So even though he got the nano boost down onto him, the waste of that tack visor earlier comes back to haunt them. He's playing pretty far forward, but doesn't have the necessary damage. Meanwhile, Miro just chewing through the front line with a nano-boosted Reinhardt of his own, and now Taimu again looking to try and pick off Who Are You, but
Man,
he'll escape with a dash.
yeah. Very, very close to landing that hook. Who Are You with some pretty sick reflexes to throw up the reflect. Lunatic-Hai, though, stabilizing for the moment. They're going to have to fight this off, though. Who Are You as a Dragon Blade, going to pull it out, go after a vulnerable Coco, perhaps. Hook misses, but Chips doesn't. Man, Chips, such a good Ana player. Eska, meanwhile, gets one with the attack visor. Taimu slept during whole hog, but that payload's going to keep moving.
Whoa!
That was interesting.
You don't think you get those hooks anymore, but manages to pull Zarya underneath the payload.
I think Zarya shrunk for a second and kind of, like slithered her way under the payload.
It's one of those Alice in Wonderland moments, you know?
I guess so, yeah. Hook me.
Zarya in Numbani land.
Either way, we're up to OT now. EnVyUs trying to finish Numbani. They've got the payload most of the way, but this is a fight they must win. They've got the nano boost. They can give it to Miro if they want to. Waiting for that Earth Shatter. EnVyUs pops the Sound Bearer. Miro being so patient with the Earth Shatter. Who Are You gets a nano boost, but no kills. Gets taken out by Harryhook in the meanwhile.
Miro has
super low, guys.
He hasn't been able to get in the front line because he's been losing the shield battle pretty consistently. He doesn't get the shatter.
Went up, and it never came down, and they're going to finish it. EnVyUs winning the team fight, the team kill, and they will claim 3 points in overtime on Numbani.
Wow. That was nearly a potential hold there from Lunatic-Hai. Who knows what would have happened if that Earth Shatter had bought them a few more seconds to respawn and get onto the cart. But as it stands, they get the kill at the last possible second. And that was just Miro. He was impatient with his shield on Reinhardt. He kept walking up when he had maybe 300, 400 HP on his shield, getting it shattered. And if you were watching Coco's shield, it was never cracked, really. So he should have known that he was never going to win that battle unless he gave himself a few seconds to recharge.
Right.
He kept going in and hoping, but Coco was just standing there. No, he knew he had shatter, and he was just waiting. So he never found an opportunity to use it. So Coco, he's been losing the mind games earlier tonight, but that was a big win in terms of Reinhardt play for Envy.
Well, Miro, as we said, has done a good job of adding this Reinhardt into his hero pool, but at the end of the day, it's the old, Bruce Lee thing again, where it's the man who's practiced the same kick 10,000 times, and that's Coco on Reinhardt to a T. So when you're going Rein versus Rein, you're generally going to suffer a bit, I think, if you go up against someone like Coco. Time on the Widowmaker defensively here. Interesting.
Tracer's suit is really shiny. You'd think that'd be bad as a sniper, where
it's Widowmaker.
Or Widowmaker, yes. The Taimu suit, yeah.
Yeah, Taimu's suit is
I would love to see
You
Taimu.
should see his pants in the booth. You can't see him because he's sitting.
I would love to see him in a Widowmaker cosplay, but that aside.
We can all dream.
That aside. Taimu, Widowmaker, sorry. I keep getting confused. I can't stop thinking about it, though.
It's a Freudian slip, we all know.
I know. It definitely is.
We all understand it.
I just admitted to my desire, though, so
I know.
I'm not really repressing it. Anyway, Widowmaker, you think the light would glint off while she was sniping, maybe give away her position?
You'd think so.
But maybe not.
I don't know. It's all about the cosplay. Who knows? Oop. Doesn't land that early shot, but they do know that he is on the Widowmaker this time.
All right.
Bold move. Eska on the Pharah, and that might be kind of tough to run against Taimu's Widowmaker.
So single support here for Envy. Hulk back on the Winston. They like to run this defense at times.
Hero gonna 76.
Jump up right now. Wish we could actually see if that concussive blast knocked anybody off. It did not.
Doesn't look like it did, yeah. Meanwhile, here we go. Internet Hulk coming in. Harryhook taken out, though. EnVyUs with a couple kills. Taimu having to back away. Now the duel with Who Are You? Ooh, that gets reflected. Could have been a dangerous moment, but it's going to be okay for the moment. Well, this is one of those Taimu moments, isn't it?
I love these Taimu moments. These are my favorite, though.
The time moments.
Those are Mickey's, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think he just poisoned Who Are You, too.
He's not going to find him this time.
Nope.
Who Are You going to be on the back hallways, so top side of the map.
Oh, Jaehoon being pretty aggressive here with this Ana. They're going to send in Miro on the Winston. They're going to send in everybody. Coco on the run. Doesn't have a lot of health left. Taimu says, here, have a poisonous mind. That'll help you out. Sure, we see whose side she's really on now. Who Are You up in the air? Does not have anywhere close to that Dragon Blade yet, though. Coco finally going to go down due to the nano boost. Who Are You building things up? Goes after Harryhook now from behind. Harryhook taken out right after he receives a nano boost. Defensive tragedy. There's a nice reflect into Chip for that kill.
Plastic grenade reflect. Who Are You? Showing his strength on this hero and Jaehong. Taimu. battle right there. So the
Widowmaker.
first push from Lunatic-Hai, as you see Hulk going to reset, obviously not going to stick on that for the Streets phase, but the first push, Lunatic-Hai was simply outnumbered on that high ground, so they lost Miro and Zunba quite early on. But eventually EnVy had to be pushed all the way down into those lower hallways, which left Harry Hook significantly more vulnerable on the top side. Not enough healing there. It is for Coco to stay on the upper level or stay on the point.
It is very bold for Taimu to continue playing the Widowmaker into EnVyUs Genji here. I feel like maybe a swap to McCree would be in order, but we know how confident this guy is on the Widowmaker for good reason, so we'll see what he can do with it.
Were you Flecked?
I'm Doa. We've been casting together for years. I'm confused now, man. I feel hurt, in fact.
Who are you? Who's on first at players?
That's right. No, Miro.
So, while I agree that a swap probably would be beneficial, the problem is that EnVy has been winning by clutching out on Widowmaker, and they haven't had the meta answers. They haven't had that flexibility, so they're trying to just outplay them.
All right, looks like it's going to be the ultimate from 76.
Oh,
boy!
okay.
Mickey grabs two with that self-destruct. I think he trapped people while they were all running from the Soldier 76 tac visor. You run into a room, and then Mickey just sends his diva suit in there after you, and what do you do?
Yeah, they turned the Reinhardt with the flank too, so ends up working out perfectly for them.
Yep.
Harry Hook now stuck in a room with Who Are You, but
he's a slippery ninja.
He's there with them, and Chips actually gets the kill while Who Are You is falling down back onto the street. EnVyUs is stabilized, retaking control of the high ground now, and Taimu has switched to Tracer.
Okay. All right, well, something. Wow, Harry Hook really going off on the 76 man. He got Jae-Hong. Got the kill on Eska as well.
So Taimu tried to get the flank here and punish Miro.
As soon as that shield is gone, man, Miro might be in trouble. Nope, pulled back far enough. Can you go back to the
Very
spawn
close.
and re-heal?
Very, very close there.
Yeah, extremely.
So Taimu swapping up to a hero we don't typically associate with him, but they need to make sure Taimu's getting on the flank and he's applying pressure. So that's what they're going to do. Finally making a choice that might make a little more sense, and Harry Hook gets decapitated.
It's Nano Blade time. Miro picking up another one. Chips high in. The next victim. And good luck, man. You're a Lucio versus a Genji.
He's just going in there to die in the merciful arms of Reinhardt.
The arms
Just
of
kill me
Reinhardt.
quickly.
That's right. Just hit me with your giant hammer, end it all. It's hammer time.
Make it painless, Reinhardt.
Catchphrase. Lunatic-Hai. They got delayed a little bit on the second point here on Nimbani, but were able to roll through after that last team fight off the back of, wouldn't you know it, Who Are You's Genji ultimate. And now the final push. They've got 3:20 left on the in the time bank. Yeah, it's quite a bit. EnVyUs, remember, finished in overtime. Earthshatter comes in, gets blocked though.
Likewise.
Earthshatter gets blocked as well on the EnVyUs side.
But the Sleep Dart did put down Mickey, so they have to walk forward to protect him. Sound Barrier is also used, and not used particularly well, and they can re-engage right now with this Graviton. It's going to be telegraphed though, but trying to avoid the defensive matrix.
I mean, he managed to charge himself up quite a bit there, but yeah, didn't drop the ultimate. EnVyUs, they're going to go deep now. Time to get aggressive, and it looks like with Miro going down, they're going to be able to push back Lunatic-Hai for the moment.
That was a fight EnVy needed. Even though they burned their Sound Barrier right now, everything was pretty even when it came to that ult bank, and now EnVyUs finds themselves up 3-1. Who Are You be approaching that Dragon Blade pretty quickly. And Taimu now back onto the McCree. I think he knows the Dragon Blade is coming, and he's going to try and flashbang it.
Yeah. Oh. Aha. He spots a ninja. Oh, flashbang didn't connect. I think Who Are You knew exactly what was going to happen in that chase. Taimu, though, probably going to feel a bit more comfortable on the McCree. Meanwhile, here comes a push. And the flank coming around the side. Escon that 76. Zumba going there as well with the Graviton Surge. This could be devastating for EnVyUs. The Nano Boost given to Harry Hook right away, but he's going to die again. And there's a self-destruct.
Doesn't get any kills, though, because Miro actually gets in front in time, so it forces Coco to pick up the kill instead. Respawn's coming through. There's probably going to be a bit of a stall right now. Tac visor up for Harry Hook, but he's going to expand in the doorway.
Yeah, he's got the tac visor. He's going to try to bust out again, though. But can't live, man. He gets hit with the Nano Boost again from Eska, and the payload's going to get there. 138 left in the time bank. Both teams completed, but things looking a bit better for Lunatic-Hai.
Still, there's so little time for both teams that it's certainly possible for EnVy to full hold. I wasn't
Sure.
the biggest fan of their composition last time, and I don't think they can run it again, because this time EnVy is definitely not going to make the mistake if they see that Widowmaker of jumping onto the high ground and losing in a 2v3.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was that really nice flank from Eska and Zunba that set up that win, that last fight team kill for EnVyUs, or for Lunatic-Hai rather.
And that's the same play that Metathena was struggling to make. We saw Hoon attempting to get into that backline on EnVy, and that's why Metathena struggled in their map on Numbani in particular. But this time it actually works out. There was more support for him to get the damage down onto the DPS and the support players.
Yep. So now we are into time bank. EnVyUs on the defense here. Not opting to go with the Symmetra. I mean, you know, Internet Hulk has told us so many times how he loves that hero. Numbani is one of the maps you can, you know, still use it on once in a while. But I feel like we've seen EnVyUs kind of move away from the Symmetra over the course of the season.
I think they may still pull it out tonight, but we'll see.
Depends.
Lunatic-Hai going for a pure dive composition. Look at this. And the Zenyatta there. Who are you? Miro and Zunba going to be selecting a target. Maybe they could change Eska onto something else if they want to dive even harder, but they'll have the long-range damage. Mickey just scoping composition. Going to get healed up before anybody really arrives. And
we know Eska can play the Tracer too, but he's just looked a lot more comfortable on the 76 this season, so I think they're going to stick with it.
I think he's been a pretty big non-factor on the Tracer so far, so
yeah.
I don't blame them. It's going to be a 2v2 on the high ground.
Super dive going in, Chips and Harry dying immediately, and that's exactly what this comp is supposed to do.
Where was the Winston from EnVyUs? Like, Internet Hulk, I'm not even sure where he was. He was not up there defending against the dive. Also, Taimu was not positioned in the hallway where we might see him against the dive composition. I think that's a big misread by EnVyUs. You have to assume they're going to dive you.
It was a bit confusing, but even after those picks, Lunatic-Hai taking a long time to get back onto the point, actually. Giving EnVyUs the time to regroup a bit. It's a bit surprising.
Oh, that's huge!
Oh, Taimu with the pick onto Jaehong. That is huge. And I'm a bit surprised that Lunatic-Hai didn't immediately jump on the point where they had the 6v4 or 6v3 advantage.
I mean, there were a couple kills picked up by EnVy, but they didn't even try and fight the hallway battle on the upper floor. Instead, they get picks on the people coming into the point to stop the reinforcement, and that's a big punish. Had Lunatic-Hai thrown themselves off the map right there instead of standing up and reset as 6 men, they would have had a better approach, but since they got picked off, it ends up being a terrible decision for them.
Well, time bank attack is not where you want to be indecisive or, you know, conservative either. You got to get in there and make things happen, and so they've really limited themselves. We're into OT right now. EnVyUs on the verge of full holding. If they can win this point, see if they can do it. The fight has begun. Eska
gets
pulls
one.
out the tack visor, gets 2 actually. EnVyUs in big trouble now. And all right, so they got the fight they were looking for.
Mickey with a self-destruct, just going to reset his mech so he can try and get on the point in time.
Yep.
Not very efficient usage, but that's all he's got.
Well, Internet Hulk gets everything blocked. Who are you? Pulls out the Dragon Blade just to close this one off.
Taimu on the Sombra, but it's not going to be enough.
Nope. And they're going to win it. They will take point A. They will win Numbani. And EnVyUs finds themselves down 0-2 in their first playoff match.
That got really close, but
Yeah, it did.
you saw how much more effective they were when they were able to reset their entire team. But it was a smart play from EnVy to try and cut off those reinforcements and not fight them in the upper hallways.
Right.
Take out the supports, you can one-shot them, Taimu gets the pick, but once they all get back together, they dive that back line efficiently, and it's tough. If you have a sightline from that Zenyatta, you get to the Orb of Discord, and you're trying to fight off a Winston, a Diva, and a Genji. Yeah, focus firing is a specialty of Lunatic-Hai and LW Blue. They're very efficient, they call targets well, and we saw that there.
Well, what it comes down to, at the end of the day, Lunatic-Hai is best at diving. They're best at being extremely aggressive, taking points like that, and it's hard for anybody to defend it, especially when it's executed so well. So EnVyUs, unfortunately for them, finds themselves down 0-2 in this best of 5 and finds themselves going down 0-2 in the face of an assault map coming up.
This is the nightmare scenario, Noah.
It really is. Well, we'll see if they can wake up from the nightmare and turn it into a dream of happy thoughts during our break. Check out the play of the game first. Looks like it's going to be one for Zunba. I think this is going to be that flank at the end of the first offensive round for Lunatic-Hai. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, gets it. And you see he's already
Beautiful.
chunked out by the time the nano boost comes down, so easy to finish off that soldier. And that's just, I mean, Miro Getting in the way right there. So he saw Coco, decided that Coco was going to kill Who Are You anyway, so might as well choose to save Zunda instead.
Yep. So don't go anywhere, guys. Map number 3 coming up in just a moment between Lunatic-Hai and EnVyUs here on Overwatch Apex Season 2, the playoffs. We'll be right back after this.
세상은 무서운 곳이야. 심지어 여기 눈바니에서도 우릴 보호할 존재는 필요하지. 5R15 방어 로봇을 소개할게. 옴닉 사태 때의 구형 이디나 모델을 완전 새롭게 개조한 거야. 얘들이 우릴 지켜줬어. 잠시 동안은. 둠피스트가 공격했을 때 난 공항에 있었어. 로봇들은 속수무책이었지. 모두가 널 포기했지만 난 너에게서 가능성을 봤어. 그래서 내가 나섰어. 프로그램을 업그레이드하고 마음을 주었지.
새로운 인격 모델 설치 완료. 시스템 재부팅 중. 5R15 온라인.
아니 그런 거 말고 위대한 영웅에겐 진짜 이름이 필요해. 오리사는 어때? 난 널 강하고 용감하게 만들었어. 넌 아직 배울 게 많아. 가끔 사고치고 와서 날 화나게 할지도 모르지. 그래도 난 네가 우리에게 꼭 필요한 영웅이 될 거라 믿어.
내 이름은 오리사. 당신을 안전하게 지키겠습니다. 그것이 제가 작동하는 목적입니다.
Welcome back to Overwatch Apex Season 2. EnVyUs down 0-2 versus Lunatic-Hai in this best-of-5 quarterfinal match. Don't get too worried yet if you're an EnVyUs fan. It is double elimination, so even if they lose tonight, they'll still have another shot later against the loser of our second match of the evening.
Yeah, they will have to come out at some point, though, with a win against either Kongdu or Lunatic-Hai. But Kongdu did look mortal in their match versus Cloud9.
They
So
did.
definitely all hope not lost. Even in their current state, Envy would be considered a favorite unless we see something truly amazing from Runaway today.
I agree.
In that matchup. So
Things looking pretty grim this time around, though. We're going into the Assault map, which EnVyUs does not exactly do stellar on.
that's the rub there, Doa, is that?
Yeah. There's the rub.
There's the rub.
You're so Shakespearean, Monte Cristo.
I am very Shakespearean. I only acted in Shakespeare plays when I was in college.
Wow. I'm not surprised at all by that.
I played Richard III once.
Really?
There were 4 curtain calls.
Wow.
That's a line from Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I did play Richard III, but I wasn't good enough to get 4
By
curtain calls.
Grabstar's hammer. You're right. I had forgotten that. Wow.
Great movie if you haven't seen it, by the way.
It is a great movie. Late, great Alan Rickman. Meanwhile, Lunatic-Hai feeling pretty good going into the next map. It's going to be Hanamura, which is where EnVyUs will make their last stand for this best of 5 at least.
Potentially last stand. Is this their Alamo? We don't know. We don't know, but for Envy, I think you're facing a team that is flawless in Assault. You have yet to win an Assault map this season. You have yet to really even look particularly convincing.
Yeah.
But even though we see Lunatic-Hai up 2-0, those first 2 maps were quite close. We went into Time Bank. It was just barely capturing it out at the end of Numbani for Lunatic-Hai.
Let's see who takes it. Do or die time for EnVyUs. Let's get in the game and find out. Welcome to Hanamura. I found out. Apparently, I saw this online. Apparently, if you shoot the trees, more leaves come down, or flower petals, or whatever it is.
Flower petals.
More flower petals come down.
The leaves come after the flower petals.
Yeah. And if they land on Reinhardt or Genji, you call that pedal to the metal. I'm so
Well done.
sorry.
Well
I'm
done.
so sorry.
I appreciate that one.
It hurts bad. Toby. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, he's back on the Torbjorn.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I hope they never have to trade him away. But if they do, they'll have to ask themselves the question, Toby or not Toby? That is the question. That was for you.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the scatter arrows of outrageous Hanzos. I got you back on the Shakespeare quotes, man.
You did, thanks. Let's write a whole play sometime. Let's do that. It'll be great. It'll be called Drop Thine Beat.
Well, let's see what we've got. We are going to have another return performance from the Torbjorn, and otherwise what you'd expect. Eska probably going to be up on the high ground, up the goat on the left side.
That Torbjorn is called an anti-Widowmaker installation there.
Well, also a charge building, because you have to turn at this point. It just buys you time. But Taimu,
he's all the way up there.
He's back on the Widow. We've seen him play on Assault before, this Widowmaker, primarily on Volskaya, but he's going to try and make it work here. He's looking for the Soldier.
Yeah.
Soldier is not there.
Not finding it quite yet. Just trying to take shots through the Reinhardt shield.
Curious where the Soldier is, because if he's not spamming the Reinhardt shield, they're going to lose this battle at the front line.
Yeah. All right, Taimu, one up top for a little bit more. There he finds some targets over on the side. Yep, taking out the Torb turret first. Oh, can't quite get it down. That's a bit irritating. gonna
Oh, he
take
missed the
the
shot.
torp
He's got to get
himself.
that turret down.
This is the most annoying turret ever. Okay, finally takes it. Toby just sets out another one, though. EnVyUs has lost Mickey, though, and they will have to pull back.
Yeah, they're going to try and let's see, where are they going? Actually going back through the gate, it looks like. So that push, all for naught, even though it was pretty convincing through the choke point. They couldn't deal with
Man.
the turret on the side fast enough, and Mickey sacrificed himself in that endeavor. Now he's going to try and just snipe the guns on the turret without getting in range.
Oh, whatever works, right? EnVyUs sneaking around the outside right now. Well, not exactly sneaking, just kind of moving around the outside.
It's going to be difficult for Genji to do anything against this death ball that's coming his way. 5 players. Can he get a big opportunity to dash in?
I mean, Toby's really occupying Taimu's time right now. Yeah, having to take out the turret again. They're going to go in with the Graviton Surge. Zinba with the Nano Boost. Chasing away Taimu right now, and EnVyUs losing a couple people. There goes Coco, and there goes Internet Hulk. Time to reset.
So,
see ya. Time to drop yourself.
As soon as they see Mickey on the top with the Widowmaker on top of the pagoda here, that's when they hit the go button. They know they have a 5 versus 4 advantage. Go ahead, dump the Nano Boost, shave some seconds off the clock. But it's again, Lunatic-Hai this series has been very good at punishing positioning and man advantages.
Yeah.
So decisive.
Man, they've got an enormous ultimate advantage too at this point.
Oh yes, this is going to be a train wreck. It'll be surprising if them to even take this point at this juncture.
Yeah, they got a minute and a half left to do it. This Torbjorn has been
And timing back on the
shockingly
3.
effective.
So
Yeah.
he has to stop the Dragon Blade. He's got to do it. Otherwise, they are in deep trouble. He's moving the turret right now.
They've got so much to deal with.
So much
though.
armor, too. Lunatic-Hai, look at that.
Molten Core to deal with as well. Dragon Blade. EnVyUs is going to have a pretty hard time as they move in. This is it. Time to make it work. There's a Molten Core from Toby right off the bat. He's just going to run after Coco, work on that shield. Self-destruct.
Mickey gets 2.
He gets
just the
Zunba.
turret.
He gets Zunba,
Oh.
though, which is big. He does get Zunba, as well as the turret, giving himself more armor there. EnVyUs does take down Chips, which is a big problem for EnVyUs. Meanwhile, Esk coming back on that 76, getting the finishing kills, and Lunatic-Hai going to hold. Only 45 seconds about left for EnVyUs.
I mean, you can kill the turret, but Lunatic-Hai still has a Molten Core Torbjorn with the speed of his right click. He can just mow down tanks. He can run up to a Reinhardt with how much HP he has, bonus HP from the armor, and just right click him to death. It's devastating.
I mean, all they've got to work with really is going to be the Graviton Surge from Harry Hook soon. Chipsian's got the Nano Boost.
Lunatic-Hai used everything but the Dragon Blade, though, so oh, they have the Nano Boost now, and Internet Hulk is dead to Jae Hong.
Not a good start. Taimu trying to loop around the outside, but both supports have already, or support and tank have already gone down for EnVyUs. That Dragon Blade finishing the rest of their pushing hopes, and with 7 seconds remaining, that's going to be that. No OT until Mickey goes in there and starts it.
They don't know where he is.
2, 1. All right, he's trying to buy time. Yep.
Playing with angles right now, getting his defensive matrix back up. He's playing this smart.
All right.
It's probably not going to be smart enough.
I don't think they're going to get back there in time. Doesn't look like it. They got to charge in. Graviton Surge is going to stop it, and it's going to be a full hold for Lunatic-Hai. EnVyUs just looking pretty lost there in that attack round.
You really do have to admire the way Lunatic-Hai is playing, though. They have a very distinct game plan coming in. You were talking about your observations, though, when we started this match about Mickey's positioning with the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
They just punished that extremely hard on that high ground. Wait, they were patient, let the turret do the work, and only the Torbjorn on the opposite side of the map on the high ground. They see that Mickey's up there. There's no way for them to eat the Graviton. Instant Nano Boost onto Zunba Zarya, and they go in, clean up, get a massive teamfight win, and that long time spent flanking around and slowly whittling down the turret is just goes for nothing for EnVyUs.
I mean, that's a really interesting way to handle the Widowmaker, right? Just occupy all her time, so all she can do is shoot at Torbjorn turrets, right? I have not seen Taimu's Widowmaker nullified that much ever.
It's impressive, right?
Sure is.
Toby playing it really well, just popping in and out of cover, being a jerk.
Yeah, building his turret in a place where he can repair it without being hit himself.
If he has armor on himself, he can't be one-shot by the Widowmaker. So
That too.
He can play a little bit risky.
Yeah. Intensity. Thy face is Internet Hulk.
Okay. So Envy needs to full hold and then win a control point draw. This is a tough ask for sure. Envy is going to go quad tank.
Okay.
So they're tired of the Genji ripping up their backlines. Their answer is going to be, hopefully nobody can kill us while we all have a zillion HP. Meanwhile, Lunatic-Hai, maybe back on that Tracer, which I maligned earlier in this broadcast as not being his strongest.
Well, he's still played it a lot. So there's that. But I think the theory here is that if you've got the reliance on the Genji, it's harder for him to take down 4-tank, right?
This
with
is
Discord Orb, that's a different story.
This is a true dive comp, though, and these tanks are going to be whittled down by Jae-Hong's Discord Orb and the Zarya, or the Tracer, pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right, there's the start. Trying to break through the shield of Reinhardt, and that's something that you don't talk a lot about with the Zenyatta, but he can really put a lot of damage down on the Reinhardt shield, too.
They can't kill the Zenyatta with this composition. Like, what are they going to do? They don't have the range necessary. Yeah, that's about it.
You got to do. Eska getting a little bit low on the side, but yeah, Jae-Hong, it's very hard to take him. He can get that Orb of Harmony onto OVERWATCH as well. And again, look at that. Discord just making those tanks suddenly not so tanky anymore. OVERWATCH gets the kill in the time. Actually, Esko finishes that one off. OVERWATCH trying to get back to his team, back to his heels. He gets there. Meanwhile, the control percent building right now. They've got someone on the point. EnVyUs trying desperately to get back there. Harry Hook receives a nano boost, but doesn't receive enough from the rest of his team to win that fight. And it looks like this one's going to end probably right here, right now. Yep, celebratory transcendence as Lunatic-Hai is going to take their first quarterfinal match with a 3-0 victory, rolling over EnVyUs for the win.
Now, first two maps were close. That last one was not.
Yep.
You take a look at the way that Lunatic-Hai was playing, and you can see they're in their groove, in their comfort zone with these dive compositions. And when we've seen Envy counter them in the past, when they've been able to use Taimu on the Widowmaker or the McCree to outplay, that's when they win. But this time around, the coordination far too good. And I think that they just went back into their old habits playing quad tank, but if you have that Tracer and you're getting, and they have a Zenyatta, like you actually don't have the tools to kill that Zenyatta unless Jae-Hong makes a large positional error and gets hooked.
Yeah.
And if you're walking up to hook, Discord Orb is going to destroy you.
Generally, that's how it is. Well, happy times for Lunatic-Hai as they are now one win away from making it on to the semifinals. Remember, this is a dual tournament group stage to the round of 8, so Lunatic-Hai still needs to beat the winner of our second match tonight, and EnVyUs would need to lose another time to be out of the tournament completely. So don't worry, global fans. EnVyUs still has a chance, and I would say the other two teams in the group, if you look at it, Kongdu Uncia, Runaway, I think EnVyUs still has a pretty good shot to get to the semis.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a tough time versus Kongdu, but Runaway,
tougher, yeah.
they should be able to handle for themselves, and we will be seeing that match in 1 week's time. So all teams tonight who play will have a week off to practice, refine their strategies for their next opponent.
Yep. Lunatic-Hai getting what they wished for. You know, they wanted to play EnVyUs right away in the quarterfinals, and they proved that they are certainly a team to be reckoned with here in Korea. Like they really needed to prove it, but I think for the Korean fans, having them come in and 3-0 EnVyUs is a big deal. Certainly.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Lunatic-Hai, man, they came
So
out of
good.
the group of death. They 3-0 their first quarterfinal opponent. They may not have a lot of play styles, but damn are they good at playing dive.
They are now 12-1 in maps this season.
Yeah, in the group of death, right? And definitely the hardest group in this tournament. They only dropped that one map.
Yep, one map to Luxury Watch Blue. That was Oasis, but aside from that, it's been all wins. Meanwhile, EnVyUs, like you said, back to the drawing board for about a week. They've got some time to practice up.
I mean, they've been shut out 2 best-of-5s in a row now.
Yeah.
0-3 against Men Athena, 0-3 here tonight against Lunatic-Hai.
It is rough. No doubt, but I think some changes need to be made. I think the time of Taimu's Widowmaker may be over in that he can't play at every map maybe this time.
I just
We'll
think
see.
that relying on your mechanical outplays is not the way you can win in Overwatch at this level.
Well, when we come back, our second best of 5 of the night, Kongdu Uncia taking on Runaway. Runaway looking a lot better in their last best of 3, but is it going to be enough to take on a team like Kongdu Uncia, one of the 2 total package teams here in Apex? It's going to be tough.
Certainly will be. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Bird Ring is going to be showing us. Certainly one of the finest DPS players, and
Oh, yeah.
he'll be in a matchup against Haksal, so exciting times.
Absolutely. So don't go anywhere, guys. Second best of 5 of the night here on Apex Season 2 quarterfinals coming at you right after this short break. We'll see you then.